Okay, guys, now we're going to talk about compaction. And it's been estimated that more problems are related to drainage because of poor compaction, drainage repairs. What's the big deal about compaction? What's so important about compaction?
Because the pipes wash out? Or?
Because if it's not laid right, if it's not replaced right, what can happen to that pipe installation? And let me show you how we used to do it. Back in the good old days, to replace a pipe, we would excavate, we would dig our trench, and the bottom of this trench, that is where we placed our pipe, just wide enough to shove that thing in there. And after placing that pipe, we would backfill up to the patching point, up to where we're going to place our asphalt patch, up to this point, and then we would compact to that point. And let me ask you, what do you guys use for compaction?
Hand tampers.
Hand tampers.
Vibratory, hand tampers, whacker packer. I love whacker packer. That sounds pretty neat. So I'm using whacker packer. I'm going to pack this thing as much as I can, but then because there's still a little bit of settlement, we would patch this thing with a little bit of extra asphalt, just a little more asphalt, just like that. Yeah, it's a speed bump, all right? So you ever done that? But even after doing this, even after trying to do this, we'd still may get some failure around that pipe. And to see how that can happen, I've got a pipe here I'm going to place in my ditch. This is my cut. This is my hole under my roadway. And I'm going to put in here this pipe. Now, how thick a pipe do you guys use? This is thicker than that. This is low bid. So I'm going to place this pipe here. And what I'm going to do is backfill this like the good old days all the way to the top to the patching point. And I'm going to use this stone, cover this pipe, and then I'm going to compact this thing. And you guys said you use what for compaction? Well, I've got this special ergonomic hand tool, hand tamper, is what I'm going to use right here to compact this thing. And I need a little more backfill there. So let me add a little more stone. So I need to make sure I got enough cover on top of this. So now I'm going to compact this thing, and I'm going to compact it as hard as I can, as good as I can, with this one long, big lift. Make sure this is nice and compacted. And I wonder, even though I've compacted as hard as I can, watch out for flying rocks here, I wonder once traffic hits this thing, once traffic starts rolling, I wonder, is this pipe moving any?
Yes. A little bit.
With traffic running over it, if this thing's moving, if this is flexing, if this pipe is giving, that means there's what around the outside of it?
Air.
If there's air, if there's voids around the outside, that means water may not go through it. Water may go where? And if it goes around it, when that event happens, when you get that phone call that there is a pipe failure, when do you get that phone call?
4 o'clock.
4 a.m. Friday night on weekend, right? When you don't want to be out there. So, I wonder if there's a better way of doing this. And so what I'm going to do is empty this box and start it all over again. So, after this pipe failure and that washout, let's try it again. Let's place this one more time. And let's see, while I'm doing this, would you mind fixing, Bob, fix this pipe for me? Can you repair that for me so I can reuse that? So while Bob's repairing my pipe, I'm going to do a couple things here. And first is to give this pipe a good foundation. I'm going to pour in a little more backfill here to make sure it's got a good foundation to sit on, to rest on. I'm going to compact this, place this, and then I'm also going to provide a cradle. And what I have to worry about is with this thin pipe, this low bid pipe. If I don't provide this cradle, if I don't watch out, I'll have some movement during compaction. So I'm going to give it a cradle here to rest in. So now I'm ready for it. Let's see, you ready, Bob?
That's good I could do.
I'm not sure about that. Would you use that?
Yes.
You would? Just can't find good help nowadays.
All we got in the yard.
Well, let me go back to the yard. I'll get some more pipe. And I'll be back in a couple, 3 hours. So how about just tell the traffic out there, chill out. I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I better do that. I better be prepared. Get ready for this. Minimize that traffic disruption. So here's my pipe. This low bid pipe one more time. And now I'm going to do this a little bit differently than before. I'm going to do it in lifts. I'm going to try to do this compaction, this placement in lifts. Now, depending on the material and the type of compactor, I'm going to do this in a few inches of lifts for this first placement. And the other thing I have to worry about with this thin, low bid pipe is I get excited up here, and if I hit it too hard, if I hit it too much, I tend to kind of push this thing out around, which can happen to other flexible pipes like plastic pipes. I need to make sure I do this carefully. I take care of this pipe as I compact. So let me do it with this first lift. First lift just like that, make sure that's compact, and let me do a second lift up to the top of the pipe. And I may have to do, I need to do at least one more lift here. But let me do this one, compact this, make sure I have good compaction at this level, at this next lift level. And then once this is compacted, and again, I need to make sure this isn't out around. Yeah, I get excited up here. It's getting peaked out up on this thing for me. It's pushing out of shape. But let me try one more lift after I have this compacted. And I think one more will do it. I need to make sure, like you asked earlier, Christy, to make sure there's enough cover on top of this thing for a traffic load. To make sure there's enough cover on top of it, I think I need a little more stone, so the pipe doesn't fail with just traffic loads driving across it. But I wonder, now that I've done this in lifts, now that I've done this in steps, and compacted this one lift, one step at a time, I wonder now when traffic runs across it, when traffic drives across it, as I'm pushing on it, what's the pipe doing?
Pretty much standstill.
Is it moving? Is it flexing? Is it giving? If it's staying still, if it's not moving, that means I've got what around the outside of it? Good, solid foundation, no voids, which means hopefully the water will go where? Not around it, but through it like it's supposed to. And in fact, I wonder, I'm pressing it pretty hard with my hand here, I wonder if a wide load, and be my witness here for me, please, Chris. If this wide load, this big old truck runs across this thing, drives across this thing, is that pipe moving? And even with this wide load, if it's not moving, that means this pipe may hold up and it may not fail, and you may not get that call, what time of day?
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning, Friday, weekends, holidays, when you don't want to be out there.